On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, it's Maul versus Mando. Who will be victorious?
Small screen, big screen, any screen. I don't care. Give me more Star Wars.
Give me more Star Wars.
It's the Bantha Milk Podcast. Yeah! Pour a glass of that blue milk, we know it's gonna last. With Rob and James behind the controls, discussing Jedi, Sith, and all the plot holes.
And James is back, folks.
I'm
here.
back. I'm here again. Oh, it was a great trip. I would have stayed forever, doing a whole lot of nothing, having no responsibilities. But that's just not the way the world works.
That's not the way it works, unfortunately. I wish it was. It would be awesome if that's the way it worked. But yeah, James went away on a little boat ride. Luckily, it was funny. While you were gone, one of our biggest followers, chat contributors and all that stuff, he asked if you were on the boat with the, what was the other virus? The something H virus.
The hantavirus.
The hantavirus. He was like, "Oh no, is he on that boat?"
That one.
Yeah. I was like, "Nope, he's not there. We're okay there. We're safe. He is not on that."
Something else on that ship that has lingered.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. Like when we went on a cruise, same thing. You know, you have 1,000 people, 2,000 people. I don't know how many the cruises hold now. They might have 4,000 or whatever they're holding up to now.
I think it's about 4,000 passengers, and then you have crew on top of it. So.
Yeah, so you have 4,000 passengers. You probably have 500 crew at least that are interacting with people all the time. It's a big boat, don't get me wrong, but it's still huge. In the grand scheme of things, it's tiny, you know? So people are on top of each other all the time. So it's crazy, but yeah, it's fun.
People wash your hands.
Yeah.
Wash your hands. Like we've forgotten how to wash our hands again. And you need to wash your hands. So
if Marie was in the chat, she would tell you have to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds at a time. So
sing your alphabet to soap and lather, then sing your alphabet when you're washing it off.
That's right, and you'll be fine. So I tried to do that today because, you know, we're all getting over being sick. So I was like, okay, I'm going to actually wash my hands for all 20 seconds like Marie said. And let me tell you, it's a long time. When you're standing there, that's a long time. That 20 seconds takes forever.
Oh. Absolutely. It just lingers.
It lingers
and lingers.
Yeah, I'm just like standing there going, really? This is a long time. Anywho, enough about hygiene. Wash your hands for 20 minutes. 20 seconds. 20 minutes would be a long hand wash.
20 minutes. I mean, that's probably a little too thorough. You're probably going to like get your hands all
You're going to start wearing stuff out. So. But I will tell you that will the only thing that will happen is the kids will have the cleanest hands because they will definitely, when they go to the bathroom, say, "I'm sorry, I got to wash my hands for 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
I'm going to miss half your class. I'm sorry.
I have to
wash my hands." So, all right. Well, enough of hygiene talk from Rob and James. Let's get into some Star Wars stuff. Before we do, what are you drinking? I still have
for hygiene.
Yeah. I still have some Darth Vader. He's the goalie for the Flyers. They did well in the first round, not well in the second round. Still have some of his beer left over, which is delicious. What are you drinking over there? Anything from Wisconsin?
It is Central Waters from Amherst, Wisconsin.
There you go.
Tig told me it's an Imperial Stout. What a perfect name!
Perfect name. Beer. Yes.
There. So we're drinking that Satin Solitude, and look at how peaceful that cane artwork looks.
It sure does. It looks very nice. Very nice. Nice Imperial Stout. All right, let's crack these open and let's see what happens here. Oh.
I was too slow. I got a gentle little.
Yeah. That's funny. All right. More of this dark saison or whatever it was. Pretty funny.
At least not that dark lager still. That still lingers with me.
Oh, I know. So yeah, this is a dark Czech style pilsner. That's what this one is. So yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, while we're drinking our beers, why don't you tell everybody all the other shows on the network since you're back? You got to go back into your role.
I gotta dig back in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I can do just that. So, not only do you have us, but you got our standard flagship show, Ears Up. Uh, they just have a new one talking about how Fantasyland and Walt Disney World is kind of weird.
Yes.
Strong take on that one. The Supreme Resort comparing coast to coast. Their recent episode, oh gosh, like 2 weeks ago. So maybe you talked about it, was Cartoon Spin, which is Cosmic Rewind. So you can dig into that one. Buena Vista Boys back at it with the strongest man in the world. Of course, then you got other ones like Scraping the Vault, Puny Pod's out, and Fantasyland Draft League, where
Fantasyland Draft League.
you can hear us if you haven't gone and listened to it, and listen to us picking Star Wars characters who aren't Skywalkers.
Yes.
Which I tried to break the rules on the first pick. Got shot down real fast on that.
Yeah,
one.
we were like,
so
nope.
yeah, go
So,
check that one out for a
yeah.
good monthly listen.
That was fun. That was a good one, and I was happy that Ryan finally was able to release it. He got it up there. He was very busy. Work and all kinds of other stuff were getting in the way. So I was like, dude, you missed May the 4th. And he's like, it's coming, don't worry. So it's finally out. So check us out over there as well. Also, you can check us out on the Book of Face. We have Facebook at Bantam Milk Podcast. I'm just trying. I just posted something to it today. Well, actually, promo for this. So yeah, so check us out, Bantha Milk Podcast. You can also check out our other little fun thing that we have over there, Sacred Jedi Texts. Check that out. That's where we post a lot of like Star Wars memes and things like that. So check that out. Instagram, Bantha Milk Podcast, and there's a TikTok, but I never use it. But do that also. So there we go. So check them all out. Subscribe, like, comment down below, all those good things. If you're listening in your car, make sure you check us out on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you listen to us in the car. So yeah, so we got all those places.
See my cute shirt of Vader walking an AT-AT.
Yes, I love that one. I have that one.
It's so great.
I have the other one, which is the snow speeders tripping the snow, the AT-AT.
Incredible.
And it says not today. So I like that one also. That's a fun one.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. So I have some news. Most of it's all about the Mandalorian. Before we get into it, my son told me some person that he follows on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. He is in the know when it comes to Broadway shows, and he always gives a heads up about what the next Broadway show is, or people starring in Broadway shows, this, that, or whatever. And he knows, he's always 100% accurate with all of his things. He posted a thing that said he hears and he knows for a fact that Christopher Nolan is going to be directing a Star Wars trilogy. And then I Googled it. There is nothing out there that says that this is going to happen. Everything actually says Christopher Nolan says he doesn't want to touch Star Wars because the fans are so crazy that he doesn't even want to get into Star Wars. So I don't know if that is true or not. I don't know if you heard anything, but I
have not. And let
Okay.
me tell you, I was afraid as you were going down that explanation of like Star Wars the musical was going to show up or something. And I'm like, I love musicals and Broadway and all of that good stuff. But I'm like, I can't see like Luke Skywalker just breaking out into song randomly.
song
Like,
and dance. They'll be dancing with the lightsaber battle. But
so,
he did. There are rumors of that, and there was actually a Star Wars musical in the 70s or late 70s, early 80s.
okay.
There was a Star Wars musical.
Okay, well, while you dig that up, Christopher Nolan would be super interesting. I love what he did with his Dark Knight trilogy.
Yes.
The Dark Knight, easily one of my favorite movies I've ever watched, and especially saying that as like a superhero movie. Like, he just did such an incredible job. Obviously, the acting was absolutely incredible. Heath Ledger, rest in peace. Like,
Hmm.
iconic Joker. Like, obviously, me being a little bit younger, I don't have all of that history with like is it Caesar Romano, um, and just the other ones that are out there. But it's like, man, that film can just last forever and just keep on going. So I think that would be a really interesting take on the Star Wars universe. But I would not be surprised if he holds true of like, I don't want to touch it. And I think kind of the
Yeah.
recent film stuff might
Yeah.
show.
And that's what the all the things that I was seeing all said that he said I don't want to touch it. I think it would be. He also liked more original content, and one of the other things it said as well. So I'm not sure, but it would be amazing if it's true. But I don't see it coming to fruition. So here's an article from the New York Public Library. The Star Wars musical that never was written in 2025, but it says, imagine a world in which Star Wars finds its way to the Great White Way. The archives at the New York Public Library for the Performing Arts contain evidence that the saga once had its sights set on Broadway. Within the Charles Strauss papers in the Music and Recording Sound Division is an unfinished script for Star Wars the Musical with covers dated March and June 1993.
Oh gosh.
The 84
Okay.
page
Okay.
script. Stop. You're going to watch me die on camera here because I'm laughing so hard.
Oh,
The
oh no.
the 84 page script with some pages missing and several handwritten notes in pencil.
I was gonna say that's relatively short. So
Yeah, yeah. Features music by Strauss, the Tony Award winning composer behind Annie, Bye Bye Birdie, and Applause, and lyrics by his frequent collaborator Lee Adams. The musical covers the three original films following Luke Skywalker as he teams up with Obi-Wan Kenobi, Han Solo, and the droids C-3PO and R2-D2 to rescue Princess Leia from the clutches of Darth Vader and continue through Luke's Jedi training with Yoda, his discovery that, spoiler alert, Vader is his father, and the rebels' defeat of the evil Empire as Vader turns his back on the dark side. Lando Calrissian, the Ewoks, and even Luke and Leia's true relationship, another spoiler alert, they're twins, didn't make the first cut. Much of the dialogue is pulled directly from the films, including classic quotes like, I have a very bad feeling about this. Do or do not. There isn't a try. Search your feelings, Luke. You know it is to be true. And aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? The script also promises dazzling effects in stagecraft, such as novas bursting before your eyes, their debris showering down upon a stage like a million fireflies, and literally 100 creatures all over the stage, most of them moving mannequins, some of them actors. So there
You know,
was.
I could just see the music from Annie being great. Like, just imagine Han Solo's opening, and you got all the little scoundrel kids just singing,
Yeah,
"It's
just
a hard knock life for us."
when they get to the Millennium Falcon, they're like the sweeping song. They're like sweeping it up and all that stuff. Yeah, it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, Bye Bye Birdie. They're all just on the phone or force calling each other, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think thank goodness that never came to fruition because that would have been a little too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Although I did predict Olivia's here. Hello, Olivia. Um, I did when they started. I have a couple of friends, and my son, like I said, he's a huge musical fan. And then a couple of friends that I work with are also huge musical fans and stuff. So I asked the one. This is going back 10 years now, probably even more. Um, like, why are all the New York City musicals now either like remakes of movies or like the Alanis Morissette musical, like where it's all like from a pop singer or something like that, whatever.
Existing people that they fit into a musical. Yeah.
Yeah. And he
Like
said,
Mamma Mia did it, so it
right.
works,
So
but
it works. Yeah. So he said basically like the musicals are so expensive now that they want to make sure that they get people involved. Like people already know about it. They're not going to write something brand new and original like Hamilton was. It's too expensive to write something brand new if you don't know that somebody's going to come in. So it's much easier to do a Star Wars the musical. So I said we need to write the Back to the Future, the musical. I'm like, it'll be awesome. And he laughed at me. And sure enough, 5 years later, what's on Broadway? Back to the Future, the musical. So
Uh-huh.
I could have been a musical writer, producer, director, but instead my person who I'm friends with, who is musically inclined, laughed at me, and now we're missing out on the millions of dollars we would have got from producing that.
And the downfall is people say Back to the Future the musical is really good
I
because
saw
we
it.
heard
It
about
was
this.
yeah.
Oh, you saw it? I'm
I
so
saw it.
jealous.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it in on New York and Broadway. So I will say this: it's really good because it's the exact script of
Of
Back to the
course.
Future.
Yeah.
So you know what's going to happen. The downfall was the songs weren't great. They tried to like shoehorn songs
Yeah.
into making a musical, obviously, and
Yeah.
they weren't great. So I was like, eh. My favorite one was oh the waiter when they go back into the 50s, the waiter who becomes the mayor.
Goldie.
Yeah, Goldie, Mayor Goldie. He has a very inspirational song once Marty tells him, "Oh, you're the mayor." And he's like, "Mayor, I like that." And then he sings a whole like really inspirational song about like going for your dreams and stuff. To me, that was the best song in the musical. Was it bad? No. Was it fun? Yes. It was fun because you knew what was going to happen. And the car at the end, when they get in the car when they fly away into the future, was a very neat trick that they did. I still can't figure out. I didn't really spend too much time trying to figure out how they did it, but it turned all the way upside down and spun around all at the same time. So
Which is pretty cool.
forklift truck that they had it attached to had all kinds of different things attached to it as well. So it was pretty cool. So it was neat. So I liked it. Did I say I have to go see it a second time? No. But was it fun once? Yeah, it was fun once. So
I'll take it.
We'll take it. So that's enough of that. So that's the Star Wars, the musical is not coming to fruition. But what I do have is from USA Today. The first article, can Star Wars find its way again? Here's how to fix the franchise. So before we get into that, let's go backwards a little bit because the weekend box office is in and it's a little bit of mixed reviews.
Worse than Solo.
Worse than Solo. Worst box office gross in the Disney era. But at the same time, it also was the number one movie of the weekend for Memorial Day weekend. So what I think about that, I didn't go until Sunday night, and the theater was probably 3/4 filled Sunday night. Olivia said, this is an incredible hand washing update. Yes, it is, Olivia. 20 seconds, wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
But yeah, so I went Sunday night and it was only like 3/4 full. But I also think that not a lot of people are going to the movies anymore. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Like when
I think there's two things that are happening because I think you're on the right track. I think one, people aren't going opening weekends because they want to find out, is it worth it for me to go to the theater?
Mhm.
Because two, things hit streaming services so fast now
Yeah.
that you don't have to go to the movie theater to have a decent enough experience. And so you're waiting to hear, like, do I need to see it on a big screen
Right.
with good quality sound? And that's, I think, exactly what you're running into. And so that's why this box office they have is genuinely a success.
Yeah. Yeah. Although it is the lowest one of in the Disney era.
Yeah.
Oh no. So yeah. But yeah, so and even after I saw it, I liked it. We'll get into it a lot more. But I even said I saw it with my son, and he was like, "Okay, I don't need to see it again." And I was like, I would go see it on a Tuesday when it's a $5 movie. I would see it again for $5.
Yep.
But I don't think I'm going to go on a Saturday night when it's in 3D, when it's $23 for a ticket to see it in 3D or something like that on a Saturday night.
Things are expensive in Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I went Thursday night. So I went with the opening release crowd, and we went to the fan event because that meant that we got to walk away with a pin,
Yes, that's a cool pin.
which is a
Yeah.
very cool pin. So
Yeah.
everyone walked out with this pin. They had like two little photo op things set up, super cheesy. Not great. But the pin was cool and it was a full theater.
Okay.
And so that was good. And then we could see the seating for the other showings. And I would say the bulk of them were half to 3/4. One of the showings, one of the later ones, those was only about a third. And so this is, your Thursday opening night of that crowd that's kind of going in.
Yeah.
And so like exactly what you're saying, I feel like is kind of what was hitting true. I was even browsing up. So we have an IMAX theater an hour and a half away from us.
Okay.
And there were showings of that had like 2 tickets sold. And it was like
Wow. Yeah.
the next day or the same day. And I'm like, these IMAX theaters are huge.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of this mixed bag of how many people were going to it. Now, would this movie have been cool in IMAX? I think so.
I think so. I think so.
It-
There was when I was looking at tickets originally, the last showing at the theater near me was a 9:15 showing, and then they decided to throw in a 10:15 showing also.
Oh, okay.
I looked at the 10:15 showing, same thing. It was like empty. There was like 3 seats there.
Yeah.
Funny story, in our chat right now is my friend that I was talking about that I said we should write Back to the Future the musical together. He just popped into the
Yes.
chat. How ironic is that? He said he
What
just got
timing?
back. What timing? Yeah, he said he just got back from seeing Mandalorian again. Half price tickets at AMC Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So I think you're going to probably find a lot of people go on Tuesday and Wednesday because it's half price.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Now I just pulled up for tomorrow to see how much the tickets actually are in Prime 3D, which is the best of the best at this theater. For an adult ticket, it is $23.49 if you want to watch in 3D and Prime tickets.
3D. Okay.
Yeah.
My theater only has a 4:30 showing of this in 3D tomorrow. And my ticket would be 1741.
Wow. It's cheaper for me to drive to Wisconsin and see it in Wisconsin. Nope, I take that back. Not as gas prices.
No, not with gas prices
No.
today. Yep.
So yeah, so seeing it again on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I think is the trick to go see it at half price. You could even see the 3D was even half price. Once you buy the tickets, it'll cut it down
Mhm.
from the $23 down to half price.
Absolutely.
So so yeah,
We have a 10 p.m. showing tonight, and there are 2 tickets sold.
2 tickets sold for 10 p.m. on a Tuesday.
I mean, terrible timing on a Tuesday,
Yes.
right? So
Because everybody has to go to work on a Wednesday. So yeah, so Mandalorian and
Yeah.
Grogu wins Memorial Day, but at the same time, is the worst. But it opened to 167 million worldwide and 98 million 4-day US. Also, they also did it. I felt like it was like watching the TV series. Like it almost didn't feel like a Star Wars blockbuster, but also the TV series was on such a high budget. You know, their budget for the TV series was very expensive. So I feel like they did the same thing. And I even like heard things that Favreau had written, or Filoni had written season 4 of The Mandalorian, and then either Kathleen Kennedy or somebody said instead of doing season 4, turn this into a movie. So that could also be why it kind of felt like a season of The Mandalorian that was in the movie theater. And it almost felt like to me that Disney just wanted a cash grab because they wanted, knowing what their budgets were, Disney Plus isn't giving them, that money directly type of thing. Like you have your Disney Plus subscription, whatever. This way they were able to get $98 million extra from people who went to see it in America. So, yeah, so I don't know,
I've
but
two theories on things I've heard, and obviously we don't need to go too deep into this until we really get into it, but one of them is Disney put out a release date before they had a fully visualized plan, so they just kind of had to cobble together what they could.
okay.
And so like they didn't have as much time as you'd like to flesh out a good movie script and everything of the sort. And two, this took the burden of being the first Star Wars movie since 2019 to be released. So when Starfighter comes out next year, it
Right.
doesn't have to live up to whatever standards that we want to exist
Mhm.
in the world. We can just see this is what it is. And now the
Yeah.
Mandalorian and his Beskar armor can take those shots. So
Right, exactly. And his plot armor can take care of that. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. They said, and then in this article that's on Deadline, they were saying that Disney's not even that worried because they're expecting toy sales to go through the roof. And they're probably said sometimes they even make more money. They Star Wars is one of the top 5 toy franchises with 1 billion in retail sales annually. 13 million Grogu toys sold during the first 2 years of the streaming series. So I guess they're banking on that they're going to hopefully make the money back in toy sales as well. So
I think it's a safe bet. So
yeah. All right. So those are the two things. And then this is an article in USA Today that says Can Star Wars find its way again? Here's how to fix the franchise. I love how everybody knows how to fix the franchise.
stop.
um, so it says the new movie's $100 million 4-day opening, according to studio estimate, marks the weakest start for Star Wars. So where did the mega popular Galaxy Far Far Away go from here? Star Wars likely will never be what it once was, though that doesn't mean that it can't explode with something fresh and new like it did nearly 50 years ago. Star Wars has seemed to be in disarray for a while in recent years, becoming more of a TV franchise than a movie one. The first Star Wars live action TV series, Mando. Since then, 6 other shows have debuted. The results of all those announcements, just 2 actual movies so far: The Mandaloorian and Grogu, obviously, and director Sean Levy's Star Wars Starfighter in theater May 28th, 2027. That's not ideal for a franchise, but epic space drama that people would flock to see over the large screen. So, could a new Jedi Master help Star Wars find its way? This is what they're suggesting. Uh, Lucasfilm, Dave Filoni, and Apprentice as popular Galaxy list, but it's also a much different world than in 1983. The big franchise don't have the best success rates anymore. Even Mighty Marvel isn't the powerhouse it once was. Kids are now hungry for Super Mario, and adults are getting their sci-fi fix with Project Hail Mary. Star Wars is back in a marketplace changed by everything from the internet to COVID, where it used to find its way again. So it says Star Wars is a ship in need of a hard reset. Picking a lane would be one scenario. TV is far from cinematic, but it's ever been, and Andor is an example of how deep Star Wars can be. But a re-emphasis on movies might help the creative focus as well. If Star Wars intends to keep its all mediums all the time approach, though, it has to evolve. It just can't be fan service for those who grew up with the original trilogy or prequels, because as much as people freaked out when Luke Skywalker dared to throw his lightsaber away in The Last Jedi, the OGs aren't as reliable as a customer anymore. In fact, they're pretty fickle. Star Wars yearns for a new generation of fans who, like those in the past 4 decades, will pass on a passion for universe to their own loved ones down the line. So what they need to do is, well, blow up the Death Star. Do something crazy and different. Stop returning to timelines that are well tread on at this point. Explore the galaxy's past and maybe some sort of Game of Thrones type jam, or craft a future story with uncharted territory. Or even better, abandon all the tropes, create new rules and archetypes, use new influences, and rock people's world with something that doesn't even resemble Star Wars. If Baby Yoda needs to come along to sell some action figures and whoppers, fine. That would be bold and brash and jaw dropping, but it worked in 1977. Why not now?
I mean, you're not wrong in this opinion of if we had me us being the people that make Star Wars. Yeah.
Right.
Stronger spine had held up to where 7, 8 were taking the movies. I think we would have such a different conversation because I think 8
Yes.
would have aged so much better. I am such a Last Jedi defender. You know this. I think
Mhm.
that movie was fantastic. It did something different. It brought so much to the world of what could be. And I think we could have gone places. So I'm going to become a vocal minority against the other vocal minority of people that just stay on stream, because otherwise we are going to get the bridge between episode 6 and 7 as
Right.
the only features of Star Wars content that's going to be successful to
Yeah.
the people that'll complain about everything no matter what. So
Yeah. So I don't know. So I I I'm like torn as well. Like and like you can't Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, they're all like old now. So you can't keep up that trilogy, that threesome, Obviously Princess Leia's
nope.
passed away as well. But like so you can't keep going with that. So you need to do something different. And you can't just keep throwing in different actors in that era. Um, it would be good to just get away from it altogether. But they tried that with the Acolyte, and maybe it was because it was bad writing. But the Acolyte was like an epic fail. So um, I think
I, I
if they're gonna go someplace different, they need to make sure that it is super strong, super well written, and super like get you the way the original trilogy got everybody in 77.
I think you are right that good writing and good storytelling, no matter what, will go there. But I think we also have to guarantee at least 2 seasons. Because think about what people would say today about Clone Wars or about
Mhm.
Rebels and
Yeah,
those 4 seasons. They are tough seasons
yeah,
compared to the rest of the stuff. But man, once you break into those later seasons, like this is some of the best Star Wars that exists. And if we keep cutting things off before they get going, we're
right,
not going to get anywhere. Like Acolyte could have gone somewhere in the second season. Like
right,
there are a lot of things that weren't great with the writing. Like the main character didn't even need to exist in the world to be a thing. But we don't need to hamper on that because it's like it could have been, and we'll
right.
never know now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. Like we need to give everything time to develop um, but whatever. We'll see. We'll see what they decide, and I think everybody is so afraid to make a decision because everybody's afraid that they're going to make something bad. Like, oh, is Mando going to be good or is it going to be bad? And instead of just like sitting down, writing the best thing that you can write, making it the best thing that you can, and then saying, "Hey, this is it. We put everything into this, and this is it." So I don't know, whatever. We'll see. But that's enough of the news. Do you have after all that? Do you have any other news? By the way, did you hear anything other than the fact that um
Nope.
that
Everything was box
Mando
office
box
based.
office space? Yeah,
Everything was box office. So, yep.
yeah. So everything I saw. Oh, the other thing that I did see. This is fun. Suddenly my Instagram feed is blowing up with people who are building their own lightsaber hilts from parts in Home Depot. Um I know
What?
yeah, I know I think you're not on Instagram, right? You don't do any of that
No,
social media stuff. Okay.
I have
So yeah.
gotten away from it.
So suddenly today I had at least 12 different people that showed up in my feed today that were going into the plumbing section, and it was mostly just a whole bunch of washers actually is what they were doing. But they started with a really long bolt, like an 8-inch long quarter-inch bolt, and then they just started finding pieces that they could all stack on top of it to make it look like Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Or one guy even made his own Darth Maul two-piece lightsaber that he even was able to stick together and all kinds of stuff like that. um, it's
Okay.
a neat concept. I like it. They look similar. I will say that. Even the best ones look similar, but they still look handmade, and they're they're not there's no place to attach an actual lightsaber blade or anything like that to it. So if you want to
Okay.
have a wall of hilts, then that's fine. And if you want some in there that are handmade, homemade hilts that are, Home Depot things, it's pretty cool.
I
But
mean,
like,
that's really cool.
yeah.
So,
So it is neat and it is fun. And my daughter was like, "Okay, so when are you going to do it?" And I was like, "Well, 20 years ago, my friend Tom, who's been on the show before, he and I actually made our own lightsabers because we went into Photoshop. We like recorded ourselves having a lightsaber battle, and then
Absolutely.
and then
Yep.
I went into Photoshop and I hand drew on every single frame a glowing line over top of our lightsabers so that it looked like,
Wow.
yeah, it was only like a 2-minute clip, so it was, whatever, 30 frames a second for,
That's
whatever.
still a lot of
It
frames.
was a lot of frames, but it wasn't, an amazing amount. But it was fun. And so I made that like 20 years ago, but it wasn't, screen accurate one. It was just like a bunch of big
Uh,
metal pipes that I could stick a broomstick handle into so that we could
Incredible.
we could bash each other with broomstick handles. Um, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I I probably, me being the type of person that I am, I will probably stop by a Home Depot and start putting together my own lightsaber and take all of these washers and metal pieces up to the counter and have the lady or the man at the counter be like, ugh, because they have to look up each
Yep, yep,
number and be like, doop, 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 doop. So,
yeah, yeah.
Tom said rotoscoping. That's what we were doing on the thing, I think, is we were drawing. We literally
Because if
drew.
you're like rotoscoping would be cutting you out of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, like
then,
I literally drew lines on every single frame. It was so much fun.
ah, and now there are tools in programs like After Effects that you
Right.
can just use plugins and add the lightsaber effect and then maybe track it and make it
Yeah,
happen.
and make it
But
happen a little bit
what's
easier.
the fun in that when you can just draw it on,
Right, I did it
thousands of still frames?
I did it at a computer version of the way they do it in 1977, where they literally scratched the film one frame at a time and did that. So, enough of that. Enough about me. Um, do you have a Jedi of the week?
I do.
Awesome. Well, let's hear your music. I think.
I'm the Jedi of the week. I've been running it like I be Yoda for a minute. Putting on a clinic with my homie Obi-Wan Kenobi. Can you feel it? On the field like a real one. Yeah, I'm the one like my first name was Anakin before.
All right, Jedi of the week. We got up to deep into the alphabet already, and then you went
I
away
know.
for 3 weeks. So I hope you
I
remember where
know.
we left off.
What was I thinking? Yeah, we left off at the letter T, and this was another difficult letter. There are not a lot of big letter T Jedis out in the world. Not the letter I expected to have that. So there's a few smaller ones. But there was an absolute perfect one for tonight. So
Okay.
obviously it disappeared for a reason. Since we're talking Mandalorian and Grogu, we are gonna spotlight, and I am gonna get the first name wrong probably. I believe it's Ter Vizsla.
Oh, okay.
Tarre.
Okay.
So I know you hear Vizsla,
Yeah,
and you
you
know
think.
that's that's a Mandalorian name.
Yes.
So he walked both worlds. He became a Jedi and a Mandalorian, which crazy. So he's like, um, I don't remember, it's 1,000 years or a millennium before the whole Skywalker saga. It was a
Okay.
long time ago, and Jedi, Mandalorians, bitter enemies, etc., etc. And so him getting inducted in the Jedi Order, huge deal. And so he had to figure out how to kind of blend the both worlds, and he did that by creating the dark saber. He is the one that started all of this. So
Nice.
we don't have, that traditional cylindrical beam. It's got that flat black
Mhm.
blade that goes with it. And so it's pretty cool, as you know, traditional
Yes.
Mandalorian sword, but connection to the Force. And so we get all of this. And so he's the one that brought all the clans of Mandalore together, but still was fighting as kind of that peacekeeper in the Jedi, but still bringing his identity to it. And so it was really kind of interesting as you go through it. So he is cool in that sense of being the trailblazer and being the first, but obviously the story of the dark saber and the Jedi Council keeping it on Coruscant, treating it as a Jedi artifact. Mandalorians not liking that because they're like, that's ours. It
Yeah.
belongs to the House Mandalore and House Vizsla here. And so, like, they had to go and fight and get it back. And so, again, any sort of peace that you might have had from this one person who could live in both worlds just kind of gets separate. And we run into this really kind of small bit. So he is because he shows up in season 3 of Rebels, where we get
Hmm.
the history of the dark saber going through it. Otherwise, he just kind of gets briefly mentioned in things like the Book of Boba Fett and other things. So not really a huge deal in a lot of the world of terms of canon Star Wars, but huge for the history of like there's where the dark saber came
Yeah,
from.
this is where it
It,
started. That's awesome.
so
Well,
yeah,
there we go.
super neat.
I love the fact that now we know who created the dark saber and where it came from, which is super
Mhm.
awesome. Um, we were talking about that. My son and I were talking because the last season of The Mandalorian was a whole bunch dealing with the dark saber and all the other Mandalorians and stuff. And then we have this movie which doesn't even mention it once. So it's like,
Gone. Bye bye.
are we losing that whole dark saber storyline? Like, what's going to happen there? And especially since they were talking that they're not going to make another season of The Mandalorian, so it's like, oh no.
Ugh, yep,
So maybe
supposedly
they will
released,
come
so
out. Yeah, maybe they'll come out with a season of uh not the Mandalorian, but the Mandalorians plural, and
ooh,
then they'll go back to Bo Katan and all that other good stuff, and the dark saber, and the other Vizsla, the Vizsla that was around during this time, Pal
mm,
Pez, whatever,
Pre-Vizsla?
Pre Vizsla. There's so many
Well,
Vizslas,
I mean,
but
he
yeah,
did, but yeah.
yeah. So, all right. Well, that being said, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we
Hold
come
on,
back,
I got
oh,
book talk update. I'm
what?
reading again.
Yay!
My library finally came through for me. Shout out Winding Rivers Library. So I've just started on Master of Evil, the
Nice.
recent release. I was like 40th in line when I requested this. So
Oh, that's
hot,
awesome.
hot take here. So I've only gone through the prologue.
Okay.
But that's like the first hour of the book is really how deep they dig into it. And so it's starting with Count Dooku. I love Count Dooku, so I'm
Yes.
super excited to have this as a start. So glad to have summer book time back for me.
There we go. Yes, I can't wait. Also, 18 days away from summer book time,
Yeah,
so I'm
a little
excited about
behind.
that. Yes. All right. Well, now that book talk is over,
Whew,
now we're
sorry,
gonna
I had to
take a
sneak it
quick.
in.
Now, see, I can't laugh. For some reason, it's still there.
I'm
Whatever.
sorry. I'll stop being funny.
Stop being funny. All right, we're gonna take a commercial break while I try and get my voice back or something like this. Whatever's going on here, I need to go wash my hands. I think for 20 seconds. All right, we'll be right back. And we're back. I hope everybody washed their hands while they were out because it's very important that you do that for at least 20 seconds at a time while you were
It's
listening to that
just
wonderful commercial.
every ad break you hear or watch, just go wash your hands. Yep.
Mhm.
Great way to live life. Yep.
It is a great way to live life. Okay, so now it's time for the important part of the show, which is our Maul versus Mando discussion. So you were here. I also want to throw a big thank you out to Ken, who filled in for you while you were gone.
Yes,
Um,
thank you.
I also want to
Would
know Ken. Ken was dropping little secrets. He was going to do something big and awesome, and we need to get him back to find out what this big and awesome thing is
yeah.
that he did, because I have a feeling it had something to do with he's in a couple of costuming clubs. The 501st. I think he's in one of the Mando Mercs group as well. So I don't know if he was shooting a commercial or something or whatever,
Cool.
but yeah, I know he did over the weekend. He told us on the last show that he was going to be performing at the movie theater near his house. They were going to be going up and cosplaying as everybody was buying tickets and all that good stuff.
That's
Um,
cool.
I think when Tom and I saw the last movie 9 years ago, there was a somebody dressed as a Jawa, which was really cool. The costume was awesome. The brown robe, they had like black cloth over their face and like the orange glowing eyes. They looked really,
I
really
was gonna say,
cool.
do the eyes light up? That's
Yeah,
cool.
the eyes lit up. They were awesome. The
Ah,
only problem
so
was
cool.
they were like 5'5". So it was
Oh,
the world's tallest Jawa. It was interesting, but yeah, but other than that, there was a couple other people there. It was fun. But when I went Sunday night, there was nobody cosplaying on Sunday night. They might have been there Thursday night. I don't know if Tom's still listening. If let us know if you saw anybody cosplaying when you went. He went on Thursday night also.
We didn't have anyone dress up as that.
You didn't
I
have any.
did dress up as a Jawa for Halloween in middle school, though. I
There you
was
go.
also a very Todd Jawa at that point. Everyone kept asking me if I was a priest. So,
You're like, yes, I'm a priest with glowing orange eyes.
yeah. I mean, my eyes didn't glow.
Right. But you were wearing the
I didn't
brown
have that
robe.
kind of budget.
They thought you were not a priest. What's the other ones? The a monk.
Like a
The
monk?
monks in the brown,
Yeah.
brown monk. Yeah.
I had the brown robes, I had the black mask, and I had
Yeah.
yellow things like stitched on just below where my eyes are so I
Oh,
could still
so you
see.
can still see?
So I'm like, I did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everyone kind of skipped the part of like my face or just assuming the yellow eyes were because I was tired.
You were
I
tired. You
don't
were
think they were thinking
tired.
about
Yeah.
jaundice at that point in time. So
You were tired. Oh yeah. You were a priest with jaundice.
yeah. Need to
Tom
get the
said that.
sun.
Yeah, Tom said nobody was there Thursday night either. He said it was boring.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So before we get into Mando, let's talk about Maul because you missed going through the last 2 weeks of it.
I did, and I'll try to keep it short.
Yeah.
I'll try. Oh my gosh, incredible. The story just continued to get better and better. There's so many great things that happen. I loved chapter 7 where they are on the run, that they've made these inquisitors cool again as they kind of went through it. Like the
Yeah.
lightsaber battle was awesome. There's just like so many good things that kept on going through it. As we just kind of felt the tension of the people on the run. Chapter 8 was great as well as we kind of just went through Maul digging back into his struggles again. You spent a lot of time with Devin and Lawson and everyone trying to figure out all of that. But then I love that we got to like the final call. And it's like Dryden Voss is trying to get in touch with you, and we get back to that crime lord business again. And I'm
Yes.
like, yes, this is what we want to see, because we need to figure out how he gets to taking over the crime lords, even though it seems like the crime lords are trying to use any sort of leverage they have on him to maybe kind of get him to be their little bit of a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, just great to bring all these little bits and pieces in together, that we've seen the Pikes, that we've seen the couple new local additions, that we got Crimson Dawn coming in. And so we just know that it's going to keep on building up. And then getting to 9 and 10, and it's like, I understand now why they kept this hidden from content creators ahead of time, because that reveal of Vader,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I'm still just in awe.
And they made him such a scary character when you see the people go off into the foggy woods and then they're just getting like thrown back and you're like, what is this monster that's attacking them? And then sure enough, that monster is Darth Vader. And even I forget who it was, somebody was like, you're no Inquisitor. It was Maul who said it. Yeah.
He had no idea who he was. And I'm like, oh, that's such a good thing, because, you know, they build Vader up so much in like the movies and Rogue One and stuff, as like, he's this myth, this like creature. He's the Bigfoot of the world. And so having Maul just be like, who the heck are you, as he's going through this? And Vader says nothing through the show.
Yeah, he doesn't have one word.
Such a good menace. Like he doesn't need to.
And I also liked how they made him at times fight the way he did in A New Hope, which was like just one hand, you know, because they didn't know how to fight yet. But they were like, oh, he's like, I don't need to put on a lot of effort here. I can fight you off with just one hand like I did in A New Hope. And then other times they had him, you know, two hands, being more physical and moving a lot faster and things like that. So they were really bridging the gap between how good the acrobatics and the lightsaber battles were in 3 versus how basic they were in episode 4. And it was almost like, this is why, because he only needed to be fighting with one hand when he was fighting old Ben, because he didn't need to fight any harder than that type of thing. Um,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, so 9, the reveal of Vader was awesome, and then 10 was practically just an entire fight scene.
Yeah. And so it's cool to see just kind of the change and deception betrayal of Maul as you went through this. Cause like
Mhm.
when they're running away in that underground and they're using the droid skiff to get across, Maul sends everyone across first and then he follows. But then this time he leaves Daki to die, which we had been foreshadowing for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think I need to own up and say it. Like, I've never been so happy to be wrong that Darth Vader showed up this season and was part of it. I said it wasn't going to happen, and here we
Yep.
are, and it's happened. And like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad it did. Um, but yeah, I will take that L every time because it was so worth it. But yeah, like him then abandoning Maul, abandoning Daki to die, seeing his chance that like I'm gonna take Devin and it's not gonna be totally my fault because she's involved somewhere else and won't get the whole story behind it was a
Right.
big thing.
And even like the one scene he did it real quick where Maul saw that Maul was in trouble fighting Darth Vader and he pushed Daki, used the force to push Daki towards Vader and get him a little off balance so that
Uh-huh.
Vader would attack him and kill him. And Devin didn't see that. If Devin would have saw that, then she definitely wouldn't have followed him to where they're going next. She would have been like, "You're awful. I can't believe you did that. That was my master." But
Yeah.
because she didn't see him get the push, she only saw him die. Then she's like, "Not that I have no other place to go, but now that Vader killed my master, now I'm with you in vengeance also. I'm just as angry as you are at this and at the Empire." Um, so it was a great little move there that they did because I talked about it before that I did not want her going off and following Maul. But they did a good little twist there to make it where she doesn't know how bad he is because she didn't see him do the worst thing, which was basically he killed her master by him forcing him to Vader. Um,
Yep.
so she didn't see that, but she also now saw her master die and is like, I need to go follow him. I need to go with him because I need to get my revenge.
Yep. Yep.
So I thought that was a very good twist and a good way to make it so that she followed him without just being a silly way for her to follow him, where she's just like, seduced by his power type of thing.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, they built their connection up well, you
yeah,
know, like not quite what feels like the same level as like the Ray Kylo like Diet and the Force connection.
right.
Like it's interesting that
Hmm.
it's like they clearly have paths that are entwined, but I like how you've put that as like now we have good purpose for it.
And
It's the
go
it's
ahead,
the
keep going.
other death that has just shocked me though. Like I did not expect Lawson to die.
Lawson, I was just gonna say, and then we see Lawson, who also, um, and he basically went on a suicide mission to protect his son. So, and his
Yeah.
son was like, "No, don't, no, Dad," like,
It's like
but
we're finally
we're
connecting
finally
again.
connecting. Yeah, that was a great father son moment there where he's like, but just think of how much we've spent together these past, couple of days or whatever. Like this is what I've been begging for all this time was for
Uh,
us to hang out together. And it just so happens that we're doing it by fighting the evil empire and an unstoppable force in this Darth Vader character. Um,
yeah, but now, like, what is he left with? He's left with Devin and Maul going with the crime syndicates, or is he gonna find his mom in the Empire of this place
yeah.
that killed
I
his dad? Like, this
yeah.
kid's gonna be a mess.
He's gonna be a mess. Yeah, I think because I don't think he's gonna be. Although he was good with the gun, he was shooting his gun. He was pretty good with shooting his gun, but also both him and his dad had it on stun as opposed to kill when they were shooting all the bad guys.
Yes.
Um,
Big deal on that one.
yeah, and they also have Two Boots is still alive, right? He's still
Yep.
going with
Yep,
them.
so
Yeah,
it's still going. Yep.
so you got him and Two Boots that are going to be like uh sad together over the loss of Lawson.
Lawson.
Um,
Yep.
so I don't know. I think think it'll be interesting. Like his mom is still out there. Threw that carrot out there that his mom, so he could go to them. But like
Yep.
you said, is he going to keep following Maul and Devin also? So I don't know.
I mean, I part of me has the sneaking suspicion that there's like romance going on between Riley and Devin at some point,
Right?
which will be another complicated layer of like
Yeah.
Devin trying to stick with the Jedi Order. Um, so I think there's a lot of interesting things, and I think
Yeah.
it really paid off that they knew they had season two that they could
Yes.
this.
Yeah. So they knew that they could take it to a point and leave it there and let us talk about it for a year and a half until season two is able to be released. So um now
I
question.
enjoyed too. Ooh, go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead. What were we gonna say? You enjoyed?
I enjoyed a lot of the online banter when
Mhm.
like related when you were talking about the quote of Maul saying like you're no inquisitor of like did he deduce that he's like former Jedi or like full-fledged or just like a really lucky Sith Padawan? Like how much could he figure out that it's like former Jedi? Could he figure out it's like the chosen one, Anakin Skywalker?
Right.
Does he even know that one exists? Like Maul's so disconnected from the world that I'm
Yeah.
like super curious of like what he's figured out because he's become very smart is how they've built him up to be, that he's
Yeah.
become very perceptive on things. And so there's a lot of me that's wondering if in season two we get some like flashbacks or just kind of other awareness of what he's telling people of like who Vader is.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think at this point, I don't think he knows that Vader is Anakin at this point.
Yeah, I don't
I
think so
think he's
either.
still very confused as to, although Vader did allude to the fact that he's a Sith or the Empire doesn't need Maul anymore type of thing. Like that was thrown out there, so I think he knows, but he might not know if he's a Jedi who went bad or what the deal is. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see where that goes in season two. How much Maul and when Maul's able to figure those things out because, um, like you said, he is very intelligent in the series, which I do like a lot.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
and it was fun. I felt like every episode did get better and better and better and better. And when
Did.
you left, we were like, oh, like is it going to keep getting better or not? And it did. And it all the way the
Yep.
final was a 9.7 rating on IMDb, and I think Rotten Tomatoes it had it as the highest rated Star Wars TV show or Star Wars animated show or something like that. So it definitely got the highest rating on Rotten Tomatoes as well, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
And it's like,
Um
would it have been nice to have more Maul in the show? Probably it was named for him, but every time he was on screen, it was valuable and it felt like a treat. So like I was
yeah.
pretty okay with that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely been one of the big criticisms. So
Yeah, and I think also like the last 4 episodes, there was so much more of him on screen versus
yeah.
the beginning where we were doing all that, character building of who are all these characters and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
now my big question,
Big
what
question.
did you like better, Maul or Mandalorian and Grogu?
Maul.
Okay.
That's a very short question.
Yeah.
Uh Mandalorian itself, I thought peaked in season one. And
Okay.
even then it's still not my favorite Star Wars. The Western style and everything with it just isn't my favorite. I appreciate it for being very excellent for what it is.
Okay.
But I definitely enjoy a lot of the cartoons and animated stuff more. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm a huge Mandalorian fan.
oh yeah.
I liked but all the early seasons, the first 2 seasons, I watched every episode 4 or 5 times during that opening week that it came out, and I've even gone back and rewatched the series a couple of times since then as well.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I'm a huge Mandalorian fan. Uh, like I said, Tom saw it first, and he didn't want to give away any spoilers, but once I saw it, or even like leading up to me seeing it, he said that it felt more like the TV series than a blockbuster movie, and
Yes.
and I felt the same way. Like you could, excuse me, you could even see throughout the movie where there would be like chapter breaks,
Clean
like
breaks. Yeah, they
clean
had clean
breaks.
story like segments of like this
Yeah.
24 minutes is an episode. This 24 minutes is an episode.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was definitely, you could definitely tell that, and even if they wanted to release it that way, kind of like with all the short cartoons that they've been doing recently, they could, even when it comes to Disney Plus, if they wanted to make it season 4 and have it in four different
Yeah, like
episodes.
6 episodes or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like they could easily do that, or just they'll probably just do it as the movie as a whole. But you could definitely tell when there was like the chapter breaks and all that good stuff, and even like
Yeah.
at the one part when he was, after he returned to one bounty and he was like, yeah, I need to go on a break. It was like, okay, that's the end of that chapter right there, like,
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, I did, as we briefly touched on earlier, I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining. But it did feel like a TV series versus a giant blockbuster movie.
Yep.
I was a
It's good
little,
fun.
yeah,
It's good fun.
it
I
was
was
good
glad
fun.
to see it on the big screen. As usual with The Mandalorian, the music is so good,
Yeah, the music was amazing.
which I'm so glad I heard that on theater speakers because
Mhm.
there's so much that sound and everything that you get with it that like that's just incredible. I want to think of his name, but I can't. Such a good future
Gordon,
of like,
yeah, yeah,
yes,
Gordon, yes.
so incredibly talented.
Mhm.
Like, has just made such a distinct sound that feels Star Wars, but
Mhm.
feels Mandalorian. And like, if this is the future of like audio and films, as I think about people like, John Williams getting up there in age, like, I am so happy to hear where this is going. Like, it's
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, because he definitely, uh is it Ludwig Göransson or something like that? Something
that sounds
Göransson.
right. Yep.
Yeah, but he definitely has a great sound, and even from the first season of The Mandalorian, when he was doing all the music for the first season, it was so different, but yet still so similar. Um,
Yep.
so it was awesome. I did find it very interesting, and I don't blame them because and Trey even said that there was like post about how Pedro Pascal must have something on Disney because he got top billing for being a voice actor, basically what it was. And but I did like the fact that it said in the closing credits, all three people were listed all at the same time. The
And
Mandalorian, the Mandalorian suit performer, and the Mandalorian stunt performer.
And
I
their
like,
names were in the opening as well. They were
yeah,
like the 3rd or 4th or the 4th and 5th names that showed up, and I'm with
yeah,
you. So glad they did that.
yeah, because you, there
Pedro's on
was,
screen for 12 minutes.
yeah, the one he was on that one scene when he took his helmet off in the lake or whatever it was in the in
Yeah,
the
with the
in the
huts.
water
Yep.
scene. Yeah, that's the only time. And that other than that, he just did voiceovers for everything else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I'm happy that they were uh respectful enough to the two actors who actually did all the work. But at the same time, we were talking about how those two guys probably got paid 1/10 of what Pedro got paid, and
Yeah.
and it's ridiculous. Oh, somebody I
It is,
saw. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
it is a cultural milestone though. First Latino
Yes,
actor getting top billing for Star Wars, and I
that
think
is
that's
awesome.
that's
That is
important
that is
that
very important.
we
Yes.
want to have this happen.
Yeah. It was somebody posted a thing about how the Mandalorian never takes his mask off, but yet when he does, he has that perfectly manicured
Oh.
mustache underneath. So they were like,
Yep. Yep.
he does that just for himself to make sure that he knows how awesome that he looks. If he ever had to take his mask off, he's got this perfect stash there also,
Yes,
which is
yes.
pretty funny.
Yep.
Um, it also reminds me of going all the way back to Smokey and the Bandit, which was a Burt Reynolds. He wore
Okay.
a
Yep.
cowboy hat the whole time, but then he took his cowboy hat off. And what's her name? The Bo Katan, same thing. He took his cowboy hat off and his hair was perfect. And it's like there's no way you could wear a cowboy hat, take it off, and not have creases in your hair.
Yeah.
And Bo-Katan also. Every time she took her helmet off, her hair was always perfect underneath the helmet. And there's no way. But anyway, but that's acting for you. That's TV.
The helmets definitely have like stylizing settings in there, obviously. It's
Yeah,
necessity.
yeah. So, all right. So overall, I liked it. Like I said, I would see it again on a Tuesday or Wednesday for $5 or half price, whatever they're going for. I definitely am not going to go back on a weekend to see it a second time. Also, like you said, it's going to be in streaming so soon that it's
Yeah.
like
We'll be talking in July and it'll be streaming or
it'll
something.
already be
Maybe
streaming.
August, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Which is great because then we can watch it again. Because
right.
it's exactly like you're saying. It's good fun. It's probably
Yeah.
in that like 6 or 7 out of 10 range for me
Uh-huh.
of like it didn't really do anything wrong. I mean,
No.
there are things that I wish they did differently or would definitely critique, but like it was good fun.
It was good fun.
I enjoyed the journey, but it
Yeah.
didn't have to exist either. So
There's a couple of one continuity thing that I noticed, which at the very end, um, I'm going to get into the Easter eggs and like little things now. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, stop now. Go watch the movie and
spoiler,
then come
spoiler,
back.
spoiler.
Spoiler alert! Ding 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 ding. But at the end, when he gets knocked out and taken to the other planet, when he's at his house, and the little guys they like follow or whatever the deal was, which was a funny scene also. Um, but then at the very end, when they return back to the Top Gun space
I
base,
love
it
seeing the Top Gun scene and like sunset shot of this one. That was so great for
was
me.
so funny. But then when he goes back to the Top Gun base with Sigourney Weaver, and he's now his Razor Crest is back there. When he got captured, the Razor Crest was at his house, which was not near the Top Gun base. And then at the very end, he's like, "Okay, I'm leaving," and his Razor Crest is back at the Army base. I was like, "Wait a minute, how did they get this here? Like this was on a completely different planet before." But yeah, every once in a while, there's little continuity things, but who knows? But anyway, all right. So I have from comicbook.com 38 Easter eggs from the Mandalorian and Grogu. So once again, if you didn't see it, here's some Easter eggs. So stop recording, stop listening now if you want to watch it before finding out any of these Easter eggs. But
Yep.
38. The Mandalorian and Grogu may be heading to a familiar planet. In the very beginning, they're on the snow planet. Some people think that the snow planet was Hoth, and some suggest that it's Grand Moff Tarkin's homeworld of Uridu. That said, the
Or you, I
views
believe. Yeah.
Uridu correspond with Pagadon, the ice planet Din Djarin visited in the Mandalorian premiere in the show's opening scene. So they're saying that they went back to that planet that he saw in season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Which is fascinating because this is like one of the few biomes where it's like there's multiple of these. Because I
Yes.
remember in like Star Wars Battlefront, there was a planet that was icy that was called Red Var as well. And so I'm like, they could be anywhere.
It could be
You know,
anywhere,
but
yeah.
maybe we're digging back into that Super Bowl ad where they were pulling the tauntauns on display. It's like they're on that planet.
They're on that
whatever.
planet. I love that Super
Could be
Bowl ad, by the
Hoth.
way.
So
Yeah.
oh, it's so good.
I thought it was so good. Everybody hated it because it gave us nothing, but I thought it was a great Super Bowl ad. I thought it was awesome.
And now we know it gave us something. They opened on a snow planet. That's
Yeah.
where they were. So obviously that's how they got to the Imperial base. So
That's right. That's how they got there. So number 37, the Imperial Shadow Council. The Mandalorian Season 3 revealed the Imperial Remnant forces were secretly coordinating in a so-called Shadow Council. Din Djarin deals with 2 members of the Shadow Council and the Mandalorian and Grogu, now named as Commanders Coin and Barrow. So we got to see 2 of the Shadow Council people.
Yep, that was cool to have them kind of reappear. Like they're such background characters otherwise,
Yes.
but yeah, neat little nuggets for them.
Neat
to show
little
up.
nuggets. 36, an Imperial Snow Trooper at last. Imperial Snow Troopers were last seen in The Empire Strikes Back, but we've never seen their full helmets before. Their lower part was covered by white cloth. The Mandalorian and Grogu finally show us what the full Imperial Snow Troopers design is. So we got to see underneath the cloth of their helmet there.
it was like gray with a couple holes. It was kind of just weird.
It was very weird. It was almost like they took two different helmets and put them together. But yeah.
Yeah. Bring the
Um
cloth back.
Bring the cloth back. Cover that back up.
Yeah.
Some guy you think you might have heard of him called Sam Witwer, also known as Maul. He
Yeah.
voiced a snowtrooper. The voice actor for playing Maul in Clone Wars. He also has a habit of turning up in live action, and here he plays an Imperial stormtrooper. Attentive viewers will recognize his tone.
That's
Um,
cool.
yep, 34 mouse droids. Mouse droids are ubiquitous in Star Wars. Surprisingly, it took Star Wars until 2024 to explain what they do. The Mandalorian Season 3 reveals they're mainly used for security. Appropriately, then, this one is sent to pass on an alert to call Imperial reinforcements as it's intercepted by Grogu, which is pretty funny.
Yep.
AT-ATs and AT-RTs, or AT-ATs and AT-RITs. RITs. The AT-ATs are back, and even in a snowy environment, a perfect homage to The Empire Strikes Back. Din Djarin successfully takes out 3 of them in a short order after pursuing Commander Barrow in an AT-RT. This is vintage Clone Wars equipment introduced in Revenge of the Sith. The AT-RT was interesting, and it was funny. Even like going way back to '86 when they first introduced the AT-ATs or the AT-ATs, they talked about how they looked at how elephants walked and used elephants walking as their model
That's cool.
for the AT-ATs. And they definitely look like elephants walking on that. Like I could see like, in India, I guess, as they're walking through the mountains with all this,
Yeah.
that's what it totally looked
Those
like to
all
me.
narrow paths. I
Yeah.
had a really hard time with the ATRT going downhill as well as it did. I'm
Y-
like, that thing's just gonna fall over.
It's
Like,
just going to
I
fall
s-
over.
I saw the video this past week or two of the AI robot dancing and trying to go up steps and just
Falling in
falling
China.
over.
Yeah.
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 I'm like, we know the Empire's not spending more money than that. So
No.
that thing's just gonna collapse. So I had a really hard time with that
Yeah, I
scene.
did. And I also didn't like that the animation was a little clunky to me as well. It looked like
Yeah.
they could have gone back over that a couple more times and made it a little bit better. But
I like
whatever.
that they were, like, trying to blur it and make it feel like it was going fast as it went through things. I thought that was good, but, yeah,
Yeah,
there were things that's like they
yeah,
could have paused and thought.
yeah. When he jumped down that mountain, that thing would have fallen and fallen into 1,000 pieces instead of just sliding down like it was surfing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Commander Barrow's INT-4 escape. INT-4 Kenner mini rig from the 80s. Favreau isn't lying when he says he's playing with his toys. So there's toys from the 80s, which was what he used as examples for, or as the objects for when he escaped from the
Yeah, it's the little
AT-AT.
escape ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ugh.
all three, all three Din Djarin actors are credited at last, which is good. BD droids. We saw BD droids walking around Adelphia base.
We love them.
Yeah, which was fun, and they pretty much did the same thing there that they do around Galaxy's Edge, which is just walk around aimlessly. But it was
Yep.
fun. So,
Yep, I'll
uh,
take that as fan service. They'll show up and be useful at some point, but for now, just keep having them in movies. Let's get
yeah,
familiar with them.
yeah. Let's get familiar with them first. Anthony Daniels was in it. The person that we all know as C3PO, but he played an air traffic controller droid on Now Hutta, continuing his streak as the Stan Lee cameo of Star Wars. That's pretty funny.
Every movie.
Yeah. The Ace of Staves. The Ace of Staves was Din Djarin is working with the New Republic, hunting Imperial warlords, assuming the New Republic is circulating a deck of sabak cards, where the traditional designs have been replaced by warlords. Commander Coin is the missing Ace of Staves. This idea was first mentioned in Chuck Wendig's Aftermath trilogy,
Star Wars Aftermath, yeah.
which is set shortly after the original trilogy and leads up to the Battle of Jakku, at least 4 years before the Mandalorian and Grogu. Clearly, the cards are still being used.
That's just so cool as a way to identify like who's still left in the world and what's the
Yeah,
last thing that we know of what they look like. So, you can pull together this deck of like, I think it was like 75 cards of here are the
Uh-huh.
people that we need to find.
Yeah.
And like then being like, I'm gonna take out everyone in that deck. It's like that's so dang cool. And like what a
Yeah.
great way to do it. Like you can hide it as the deck of cards and just a box stuff so it doesn't look suspicious.
So it doesn't,
But it's
yeah.
just such a cool way to give bounties.
Yep, 100%, 100%. Yeah. It's almost like in Gone in 60 Seconds when they wrote all the card names
Yeah.
in soap on the wall that only used a black light. So yeah, but anyway,
Yeah.
um Din Djarin is gifted with a new Razor Crest. That was a pretty cool Razor Crest. I did like how they threw it back to, he's like, "Oh, this is a vintage ship." And they were like, "Yeah, it's been restored back to original." As soon as he
Just
said
like
it's been restored
factory
back,
reset it or whatever.
yeah.
Like, this is great.
He's like, "Okay, we're gonna have to change all this." But yeah, this is a good starting point. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
There was
I still don't necessarily love that we just like got to reset back to him having a Razor Crest, but it's fine. At least I'm probably spoiling it later that at least the other starfighter's still there. It's back on Navarro
yes.
with his mom. So
Yes, and there was a image of some sort that we saw of a ship that was like, it looked like a Razor Crest with a starfighter on top of it. Like it looked like a much bigger ship. So
okay.
I hope, especially since now that the Razor Crest is chrome, just like the starfighter is, it would be cool if we ever have anything in the future um, where he winds up mounting the starfighter on top of the Razor Crest,
Oh,
kind of like
interesting.
the Ghost
And the Phantom,
and the
yeah.
Phantom, yeah.
Okay, okay. I
So
could get on board with something
I
like
would like
this.
that. Yeah, that'd be fun. And then like he can leave the Razor Crest floating in space and take the starfighter down, whatever type, who
Uh-huh,
knows. But anyway,
uh-huh.
the twins, the two Hutt crime lords known as the twins, were introduced in the Book of Boba Fett, where they sought to claim Jabba's palace on Tatooine.
Yep, yep.
So they're back doing that. Zeb, the new live action version of Zeb. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I like the cartoon version of Zeb looking wise
Uh,
better. I wasn't a big fan of the more Ralph McQuarrie version of Zeb. Me personally, I don't know what you felt.
uh, we finally get to disagree.
Okay,
I do agree cartoon version is better, but I think for a live action version, this is better than I expected it to be.
okay, I'll go with
So
that. Yeah,
do I wish that there would be like more opportunities for like what I feel like would be four-legged Zeb running around and doing a few things? Definitely.
yeah.
Some more acrobatics. Yeah, like we got the one hallway fight scene where it was like nobody could hit him as
Oh
he was
yeah,
fighting through.
and he
And
had
so
his
like that
stick.
wasn't great.
Yeah, his
Oh,
I
which was
forget what
great.
the name of his stick is that he has, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, so that was good. And he was doing all the like using his feet to grab onto the walls and the ceiling and stuff like that and spinning all around. Um, but yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I'm looking right now at pictures from Rebels and then also the live action, and I see where they got the look for the live action, but I don't know. Still think I like the cartoon version a little better.
Yep.
That's just me.
I can respect that.
I was happy to
I
see
think
him.
this was a good use of him. Like
Hmm.
use an established character in a role where you need like a pilot or someone to go with him and do these things. But
Right.
it's not doing anything for Zeb. It's
No.
not changing the story,
Nope.
but you get another character in there. He can get a
Yeah.
little screen time too. Like this is a very good borderline fan service choice of like we needed someone, so let's use Zeb, who we've already kind of established, and we'll probably continue into some of the New Republic kind of stuff when that comes out too. So I was very
Yeah.
happy with that.
Yes, I agree. I agree also. And I did like him. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like him. I did not
Oh,
like
of
him.
course, of
But
course.
yeah, yeah. All right. Now
You wanted
Hutta.
him to look different.
I
I
wanted him to
get
look a
that.
little different. Yeah. Now Hutta. Going back to the planet where the homeworld of the Huts. So that was cool that we got to
that
see that.
that planet looked gross and stinky, and I couldn't be more happy that it felt like that.
Oh, yes. It was very much like and it was also kind of going back into Grogu making the little mud hut. It was very much like Yoda's planet of where did Yoda die on? What's that planet?
Dagobah?
Dagobah. Yeah, it looked a lot like Dagobah. Um, stinky, swampy, whatever. Um,
Yeah.
the Hutt stronghold is home to many Easter eggs, including the familiar crest of Jabba's family. The twins have hired a group called the Droid Gotra to guard them, a group who support droid rights and who serve as hired muscles for the Hutts and the Crymora Syndicate during the dark times of the Empire's reign. Most members of the Droid Gata hailed back to the Clone Wars using familiar Clone Wars era tech, such as the HH-87 Starfighter. I did like seeing how all of them looked just a little bit different. You know, like the battle
Yep.
droids had different paintings and stuff on them. They were a little bit more original than just all the typical clones and all that good stuff. The two giant droids that he was fighting was cool because it was stop motion. I did like.
Stop motion. Yes. What
Yeah,
a great use of it.
they did do a lot. Avengers Hockey says that live action Zeb was done very well. So he did like live action Zeb. So he's with you on that one.
Yep.
But yeah, there was a lot of stop motion in there. I did like that.
The
Also,
droids are interesting too, because like that's a call out that I think I remember from the Tarkin novel. Of like the droid group that the Hutts had hired to help protect them. And so that was kind of nice, like again, nod
yeah,
to other existing material to
yeah,
give them some life and use what's out there. So
yep.
but then when we fought them, they were kind of chumps again compared to the Mandalorian. So it's
Yeah.
like, who's actually valuable in this world?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the stormtroopers. Once again, their armor is completely useless. These
Useless.
droids, other than the fact that there were so many of these droids were pretty easily.
Inept.
Pretty inept is a great word for it. 22. Rod of the Hutt. Jeremy Allen White voices Rod of the Hutt. I think this is what when Tom was talking to me, how he didn't like in the original trilogy and even going back to the prequels, the aliens all spoke alien languages. And then Rod of the Hutt did a little, spoke a little Huttese, but then suddenly he's just, a guy. Like he has a normal English basic accent and whatever. And it did take it out of me also. Like I did find it, I would have rather read subtitles the whole time that he was speaking Huttese than hearing him with like a guy with a New York accent talking here as this giant Hutt with all these muscles and stuff.
I like that take, but I don't think that's the right take in my opinion.
Okay.
He was trying so hard to not be a Hutt that I think he doesn't want to speak any sort of Huttese. So I feel like he was probably more upset when Din showed up or whoever and was like, "Oh, Wangu."
Right.
And like, I don't think he wants anything to do with that. Now, should he have had an accent that wasn't, that New York accent or whatever you want to describe that as? Probably. I feel like that would probably be an important addition in there. But I like that he spoke basic instead of speaking Huttese.
Okay, you might have convinced me just now. I think you might have convinced me there because of him not wanting to be associated with them. I can see that him trying to, get away from his Philly accent and doesn't want anybody to know that he doesn't want anybody to know he's from Philly. So he learns how to say water instead of water the way, he's been saying for 50 years of his life. So yeah, I understand.
So easily.
Martin Scorsese was in it as well. Martin Scorsese played Hugo Durant, an Ardenian fry cook on Shakira. So the guy with the guy with the 4 arms was Martin Scorsese, which was interesting because Martin Scorsese has talked about how he thinks cameos are silly and that they're not necessary. And then
I have loved the running joke of like Scorsese just needed a little bit of extra money, so he decided to cameo in this movie.
He's He's like, I'm gonna put it, I'm gonna put an addition on my house. Sure, I'll
I,
do a cameo. Why not?
I got an idea for a film. I just need a couple millions to
Yeah,
get it
to get it
started. Yeah,
started. Yeah.
absolutely. So, interesting note. I feel like and I may not remember right, but I think that means that Scorsese's character related to the pilot from the Solo movie,
Oh
the other
yes.
character of the
Okay.
same name,
Yes.
species. And so like a little bit of a tie there. Maybe they're all just family in that species, but
Yep. I can see that.
he's a super fun character.
Yes, he was a fun character, and I did like how he was like, "Stop saying that name around here," and then he's like, "I'm
Oh,
not taking your credits," and he was like, "I need to find Rada the Hutt." He goes, "Oh," and he like takes all the credits before he could be like, "Just turn around. There's a poster
it's
of him
right
right over there. He's
there.
right there."
So,
Yeah, that
yep,
was
yep.
pretty funny. Um,
Fun tie-in too about him. I know you love talking about the Disney theme parks. The food that he makes for Grogu, they have something very similar
oh
to
yeah, the
that.
popcorn. Yeah.
Yeah, so the popcorn shows up, and
Hmm.
there's a sandwich that's similar with the meat and the blue, um, which in the Disney parks is onions, but might be like krill or something else. And then I don't remember what else is on it, but like there's something similar to that. So I am happy to see parks doing a good tie-in with a movie
Yes.
release at the same time. Because
Yes.
yeah, like you said, the popped grains, I believe they call it in Batu.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that
So
stuff is there, let alone the merch. But just had to mention it.
yes, very good. I forgot about that. I did read that somewhere else as well. Yes. Classic Star Wars creatures have become hunting prizes. Attentive viewers will spot some very familiar trophies along Lord Janu's prizes. His wall is decorated with the head of creatures such as the Wampa from Empire Strikes Back, as well as the Nexu and Reek from Attack of the Clones arena battle.
Yeah. That
So that
was
was
there was a lot of creature heads. So I
yes,
like
yes,
I'm shocked with how many there are, but that's probably a lot of the things that he brings to the arena frequently to fight and then claims as little trophies. So I think that's really
yes.
cool.
That was pretty cool. This is a funny one. Din Djarin gets his Luke Skywalker moment, and Rada is his Leia. Uh, the best moment in the movie is when Din visits Rada in the hut in his cell, and Rada's body language and dialogue is almost identical to Leia's in the scene in A New Hope when she's in the jail and she says, "You're a little small for a stormtrooper." So that's pretty funny. Some familiar names on
Shikari.
Shikari, including tribute to Carl Weathers. Uh,
Yeah,
there
the
was
Weathers Arena or
a
whatever they called
yeah,
it.
it said Weathers Apollo, which was
That's it.
written
Arabesh.
in Arabesh. Yeah, so that was nice. The Dejarik monsters, which was very fun because when he said he's going to be in a Dejarik battle, I was like, I know what that is, and
Yeah, so I felt so cool knowing that one too. I'm
I
like,
was
they're
like,
bringing out all the monsters.
they're bringing out all the monsters. So all the monsters that were on the Dejarik table, which was in the Millennium Falcon that Chewie plays really well, they were all of the monsters that he was battling in the last fight scene. So that was pretty cool.
They
Uh
even had a moment where, like, the one that we see where the big monster picks up and drops the smaller monster
huh.
happened in the fight.
Happened in the
I'm like,
fight.
"This is
Yep.
great. I love
Yeah.
this so much."
Yeah. That was exactly like it was done in the holograph, which is really fun.
It
Um,
fit perfectly,
It
so
sure did. It sure did. Din Djarin says, "I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold," which was going back to the premiere episode. Uh,
yeah.
a surprising reference to the acolyte. Din tells Zeb to make some heat of the moment adjustments to the Razor Crest as the group flees Shikari, and he protests he's not a menk
The
a
Mechanic.
Mechnik. This is one of the more surprising Easter eggs in the Mandalorian and Grogu because Mechnik's Star Wars version of space mechanics were introduced in the Acolyte. So
It's a
that
new
goes
name of the people that are taking droid jobs.
yes. Uh,
Yeah, so that was nice. I feel like that's just good continuity as they're kinda
yeah.
going through this one, so
Uh, Coin will sing like a Yuzim. According
yeah.
to Din, Commander Coin will sing like a Yuzum. That's the first canon mention of the Yuzum, a Wookiee-like race introduced all the way back in Alan Dean Foster's 1978 novel Splinter of the Mind's Eye. The Jaren kept his two blurgs from way back in the season one, which was cool.
This is now back in Navarro, and this is where I wanted the Carl Weathers tribute. Like I wanted a statue of Grief
Yes.
Karga or something to
Yeah.
just have that there in the movie. I feel like we could have had that little moment of acknowledgement, and we just
Even
kind of blew past it.
even when they did like a flyover of this city before he goes down to his little place off in the outsides, if there was just you could just see a statue as he flew over, that would have been really cool.
That
Yeah.
would have been all we needed. Yep, just
Yeah.
something really nice. Like, fine, they gave him that Apollo Arena thing, whatever, but it's like you should have had it at Navarro where it would have actually made sense.
Made a lot more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
The return of the Anzillians. Is that how you say that?
Who doesn't love the Anzellans?
Yeah,
Yep.
the Anzellans. Yeah, so they were fun. All are voiced by Shirley Henderson, who previously voiced Babu Frick. Amusingly, one of the Anzillians is named Minch, the name originally given to Yoda in the first draft of The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's fun. So
Yeah.
she's such an interesting talent, like the actor, the actor, because she's Moni Myrtle in the Harry Potter series,
Oh,
and
right. Okay.
she's like not that young when she's portraying Moni Myrtle, but still has that young look. And so it's
Uh
like,
huh.
dang, you are impressive range to go from like whiny Moni Myrtle to like these Anzellans and they're
These
kind of
little
like silly
Anzellans.
gibberish and everything. Like,
They were so
I
funny.
adore it.
I
They were
loved.
great.
They were great. I loved how like they were speaking, like you said, they were speaking gibberish, but then they would, get you would definitely know exactly what they were about to say and things like that, which
Yeah.
was really, really funny. I did
Couple
like the
words
fact
on
that their
it.
ship was so tiny also.
Was so good. I was shocked. Like Tang was sitting next to me. He goes, "They're gonna have a small ship, aren't they?" It's like the first appearance of a small ship.
It was so funny when Grogu's standing in the ship and he just looks like a monster in there. It was so
Yeah.
funny.
Oh
And then
my
when they
god.
when they take they take Tin and they go, here we have a ship, and he looks at it, he's like, yeah, I can't get in there.
No, no, thank you.
No, thank you. Embo from the Clone Wars was the bounty hunter guy, which is pretty cool.
Great,
Bounty
great
hunter who was
for the
frequent
second.
antagonist in the Clone Wars. So he was
Yeah.
good. He had a lot of good fight scenes with Mando in that. Um,
Used his hat in so many cool ways.
yeah,
He's living up to that bounty hunter hype that he should have as that
yep,
Kyuzo that he is. Like it's great.
yep. He was awesome. The Mandalorian Creed. The Hutts apparently have a deep knowledge of the Mandalorians. They're aware of the Mandalorian Creed that Din should never allow someone to see his face. I did like the fact that when they were like, "Ha, we took your helmet off, so now you can never be a Mandalorian again." I was like, he's going to kill you now, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
This is one of my problems I have here. Here's one of my problems. Because yeah, he's absolutely gonna kill them 100% because he's got to get over that. But
right.
when did we get the addition to the Mandalorian Creed that it's you can't take your helmet off
Oh, yeah, that was.
unless you kill everyone who's seen your face? The armorer did not ask that question the first time.
No,
Or are we just trying to avoid having to go back to Mandalore to bathe in the waters where they have a settlement now and it's easy to do?
yeah,
Like,
it's easy to
ugh.
jump back into the water and say, okay, never mind.
So
But
have we
yeah,
updated it to make it more challenging, or has it always just been that way and we haven't cared? Like that would make me upset.
yeah,
Very.
because it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna change it now so that way I have a reason to come back and kill you. So,
Yep. Yep.
um, the Hutt's trapdoor and the Hutt's trapdoor trick and the dragon snake. So yeah, as soon as you walked into that room and I saw that there was a metal door there or metal carpet, whatever you want to call it, I was like, yeah, that's a trapdoor just like Jabba had.
Classic
Uh,
Huts.
Classic Huts. And then the dragon snake was cool. That was
Very cool.
a creature already known to be found on swamp worlds like Dagobah and Nalhutta.
Yep.
The
New
Amani, we saw a
knowledge that
lot
they're
of.
poisonous though. Had
Right.
not heard
No,
that before.
no.
So
I also thought when Grogu closed up the wound that he was going to get the poison out
take the
then,
poison out. Yeah.
but he didn't. And this is the thing that Trey had a problem with, which was as Din was there slowly dying, as Grogu's just wandering around, he just happens to find that one guy who lives in that hut way back in the middle of the swamp, who's just like sitting there and whatever. And that guy, as Grogu's there, the bounty hunters come to ask him if they've seen him, and they lead it into the fact that he's been poisoned and whatever. And then the guy is able to mix up something that saves him. And it was like, it was, as Trey said, it was just too easy
Yeah.
for Grogu to save the day. Like, it would have been better if he had to do something, if he, but yeah, so that whole
Also, why was Din sending Grogu away when he knows he has force healing powers? He's done
right.
it
He's
before.
done it before. Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Yeah.
That one made me so upset too. It's just
Yeah,
like,
that whole little area, that whole little
you're
part of
better
it
than
was
this.
was yeah, it
So,
was could have been written better. The Amani were all over the place in the planet, which is really neat. They've never been developed quite like this before. The Mandalorian and Grogu draws on deep lore from the expanding universe, even featuring a scene where one rolls along the ground. That was pretty cool. Number 7, we see Grogu's force powers. That's not that big. Grogu becomes a true baby Yoda. While on Nalhada, Grogu intimidates or imitates Yoda in some delightful ways. In a meditation pose straight out of Dagobah, and another scene where he crafts a stick to help himself walk on uneven ground. He really is Baby Yoda now. Okay. I
okay,
did
I
like
wanna
this
I wanna
stick.
talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah. I did like the stick. That was pretty funny. It was a good nod to, because it even looked like Yoda's stick from when he was
Mhm.
on Dagobah. Uh, but go
How
ahead.
how did how did you feel about this whole kind of arc when it was like Grogu alone, Grogu figuring things out?
It was not my favorite arc. Like, it was now the a kid saving and protecting the dad, where before it was always the dad protecting the kid. This was now the kid maturing, I guess, and being the protector now. Um, Building the little hut that looked just like Yoda's hut. It was, I don't know. I didn't really care for it all too much. It was all just like bah to me. It was
Yeah.
very meh at the best. Yes.
Yeah, I am fresh off my Disney boat, and I am fresh off of watching Wally. And I felt like this scene should have had a lot of that impact for me the same way of a
Right.
basically a non-speaking character
Mm-hmm.
and little grunts and groans and things that you can kind of communicate, and then occasional interactions with other things like Eve can kind of talk, the Ansellans can kind of talk, and so like
Mm-hmm.
we kind of have what it should be. But Wally builds, we get insight into like Wally's character and what he's
Mm-hmm.
longing for and everything that he's getting, and all we get from Grogu is you're cute and you're trying to survive. I
Yeah.
don't feel like we get that same like character growth and development that we
No.
get. And I'm like, Disney knows how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe you have to call your friends at Pixar, but it's like
Yeah.
it should have been better.
Right. And even like I said, about how he didn't do anything to save Din. Everything to save Din was all handed to him by the swamp
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Like,
Other than building the shelter
he
for
built
the
the shelter.
best comedic moment of the movie.
Right, put it with him banging the head into the shelter.
Yeah.
It was great. It was so funny. It was like
So
bump,
good.
bump, and then he throws the leaves over his feet. Like, that was fun. But
That was
yeah,
great.
and then the other thing, I guess maybe he got it from the spaceship, but I was like, where did he get the light from that was
Yeah.
inside the thing? I was like, wait, hold on. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because
I
he
just
really
we needed him to grow and change, and he
and
did.
and he didn't, and it would have been great if he somehow um found some he made up the recipe to save him. Like, maybe even
Yes.
if he went on this spaceship and there was like a med kit there or something or whatever, something that he could have done himself rather than getting it from the other guy, getting it from the guy who lives in the forest. Like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, it was was the slow part. It was the mid part, the meh part of the episode, very
Yeah.
much so.
Yeah, and
So
then Din gets up and he drops the line basically of what you said, "The old protect the young until the young have to
yeah,
protect the old," and I'm like, "Are we gonna do anything with that? Like, is
right. Then where are we
fatherhood the
going?
theme of this movie
And that's
that I
pretty
should
much
have
what
been
it
paying
was.
attention to?"
Yeah, yeah. The whole
And
theme
then
of the
it's
movie
just
was,
gone.
and then it was done, and it was like, okay, let's go kill the Huts, and it's like,
I'm
okay,
like, "Where are all these Mandalorian things coming from? Why haven't
yeah,
we heard them before? Or pick one."
or pick
Like,
one. Yeah, yeah.
ugh,
That part was,
that's why the second half of this movie just fell off for me,
yeah.
so
Din Djarin gets his rifle back that what does it do? It just annihilates everything. I forget what it's
the
called.
disintegrate.
Disintegrates. Yeah, no disintegrating. But yeah, he gets his disintegrating rifle back,
Another one of those back. Yep.
which was fun, except for the fact that like there was talk about those guns were illegal and banned and all that stuff. So now there's just another
I
one on another ship.
it's it's with the huts and stuff, right?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Colonel Ward is Blue Leader. Sigourney Weaver's
Yeah.
Colonel Ward leads New Republic forces. She is, though, Blue Leader, a familiar designation. Blue Squadron was pretty much part of every major battle. Oh,
I did not enjoy her very much when she was
no.
piloting.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
enjoyed her very much in her other interactions, like, Sigourney Weaver's incredible, but, like, in the ship, I'm like, I feel like she's just kind of like this bland kind of character in this tense
Oh,
fighting scene that what we're used to.
yeah. She was like she didn't know how to act on a against a blue screen, against a green screen there. It was like,
Something like that was just kinda
yeah,
weird.
it was kind of weird. I did like,
And I loved her other scenes, so but carry
yeah.
on.
In the scene when they go into the mess hall of the army base, and I said to Trey, I said they reused that scene. That scene was supposed to be from the Starfighters TV series that they were going to have, not the ones
Oh,
with the
the New Republic,
Rangers, the New
whatever one?
Republic Rangers. Yeah,
Rangers,
the
yeah.
Rangers. Yeah. Because like all of those, half of those pilots were the producers and the directors of the Mandalorian. So you saw Dave Filoni, you saw Deborah Chow, you saw Rick Fayamuwa, and you saw Lee Isaac Chung. They were all sitting there. It was cool seeing them all. And it was funny. Dave Filoni, even in this, he has to be the lone wolf with the cowboy hat and all that
Of
other stuff
course. Yeah.
because it's just like that's really funny. Number two, Red Jammer. The Mandalorian and Grogu featured a piece of Star Wars history. This was a model for the original 1977 film, and it never made it into the movies. The Y Wing Red Jammer finally made its live action debut. It's a very special Y Wing, I guess. And then George Lucas gets a story credit, is what their number one thing is. Um,
Oh, okay.
but George Lucas gets a story credit in every single Star Wars thing
As he's
because
going to.
as he's going to, because he's the original creator of Star Wars as a whole, and I'm
Yep.
sure he had some kind of contract written in there where it's like, hey, whatever you do, I need a story credit there. So whatever. So
Yep.
that's this website's comicbook.com's 38 Easter eggs. There's plenty more. Um,
Yep. Yep.
there was another one that I don't remember now, but I think it might have had something to do with the hut that Grogu made, which looked just like Yoda's hut on Dagobah. So
Sure, sure. So, all right. Controversial question for you as it's kind of gone. How do you feel about Rod of the Hutt as the character beyond him not speaking Huttese? Like, Stinky showed up way back when in the Clone Wars.
yeah,
And, pe-
I did like the reference that they made where they said this is the last picture that we have of him, and it was when he was Stinky in the Clone Wars.
so
I
funny.
was like, that is a good Easter egg. So that's another Easter egg that they missed out on there. So I did like that. I found it interesting that Rod of the Hut. I also liked how they showed you how the huts moved around, which was
Yes.
interesting
So nice to see.
because before that they were always just sitting there, and so now we got to see him actually like slug his way around and move around.
Roll
I
around and hop. Yeah.
hop. I didn't mind Rod of the Hut actually. I thought he was okay. Um, if they were going to do a sequel, it would be interesting to see how they use him because he seems like he's sticking around now because he doesn't want,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be his dad. He doesn't want to be a crime lord. I did like that whole this one, like the whole movie was all about fatherhood, and it was like Rod the Hut trying to say, "I'm not a bad guy like my dad. Um, I'm not Jabba. I'm trying to think of like who was the big mob boss from whatever. I'm not Tony Soprano's kid,
Yeah.
type of thing, whatever.
And
I
you
didn't
got that stand moment of him on the beach, like, playing with Grogu,
playing
like,
with
he
Grogu.
got
Yeah,
involved, yeah, like,
yeah.
really kinda standing out with that.
And it was interesting that they did throw back some things to him still being a child, like when he was playing with Grogu, or even like when Grogu went and saw him and he was in the jail cell and he was like, "Can I feed him?" And Grogu then goes through the gate, and I was like, "Uh-oh, like bad things are gonna happen." But
Yeah.
he was very gentle with them, and he was so I didn't mind him. What did you think? Did you not like him? Did you like him?
I liked him. I
Okay.
thought they did a nice job with the character and adding him. My biggest qualm is I feel like he was too perfect in what he was trying to do. Like, he
Yeah.
did a lot of, like, mistakes or flaws as he was going through it. Maybe some of the trust issues with, like, Mando and, like, "I'm out of here after this fight, it's gonna be fine," but then after that, he was like, no issues, no character flaws as he's going through it. So I'd be
Yeah.
eager to see kind of where that goes of something like that. But I thought he was a nice character addition. And like as weird as it is to say, the movie got weaker as soon as he left, and
Yeah.
that is not something I would think to say.
No. Yeah.
So because like
Yeah.
the overall, like the first half of this movie I felt was very good. That
Mhm.
opening fight scene in the hallway and everything really just kind of set the stage right with the Mandalorian, and everything was just so good. And then like there was no payoff for any of that. Suddenly it was
No.
just a Hut problem instead of an Imperial problem. So that was just kind of gone, and we won't get back to it because we don't know if we're coming back to
Right.
Mando
Yeah.
and whatnot with it. And so it's like, man, if we had just stopped halfway through, I would have been much happier, I think, with the
Right.
movie overall.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really hoping that there was gonna be more just of him doing what the Mandalorian does, just getting more sabacc cards and just going to get more people rather than it turning into this whole hut thing instead. So yeah, I don't know, but I did like it. Like I said, I would see it again on a Tuesday or Wednesday for $5 when it comes out on streaming. I definitely will watch it again, and they're gonna get their million hours of streaming views and all that good stuff on it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's definitely worth watching again. It's not worth watching again for an exorbitant amount of money. But for half price, probably I'll see it again. Yes.
For the music alone, again, I
Oh
will stand by. Probably
yes.
worth it to see somewhere with
Mhm.
a good sound system. Which,
Yes.
if you have a good friend, that's great. Otherwise, half price movie day, good thing to do because
Yeah.
that track is just so good.
It's so good. The music is so good. So yeah. All right. Well, we've been talking for a long time, so I think
Ooh, we
we
have.
wrap this up. I think we are good now. So that's our review, our take of the two movies, the movie and Maul. And I think, like you said, Maul's better, but Mandalorian and Grogu was fun. It was fun. I didn't mind it. So with that, I'm gonna get us out of here. So once again, we have spoken.
We have spoken.